Hey everybody, Arthur here with another unboxing video. Today we have G.I. Joe Classified Series Serpentor and Air Chariot. It comes in that convention exclusive style packaging with some amazing art on the front. On both sides, we got the new file card system, and Serpentor is number 57 from the G.I. Joe Classified line. And we get some amazing artwork on the back. The back of the box is beautiful artwork. We got Serpentor looking awesome. He's sitting on top of the Lincoln Memorial with some Vipers chanting. We got him fighting Cobra Commander, which hurts my soul because I love Cobra Commander. Then we got him with like a heated knife cauterizing the wound. We got him going into battle with Baroness, Destro, and some Cobra Troopers. And then at the bottom, we got him coming out with some, there's the fire bats and the night ravens and all that stuff just flying out to battle. And then in the middle, he's just showing how angry and fierce he is. He's just an awesome piece. But let's go ahead and get the Emperor out of his box. Straight out of the package, Serpentor comes with his cowl equipped, and it looks really cool, very clean. The head sculpt is phenomenal. He just looks super angry and stern. Now, the reason I'm doing it up close is because you could see how the actual snake part goes down and it connects into the back down here. So it's one piece. You're not really going to get any head movement out of this head sculpt because it's attached. Almost, I guess, sort of like a neck brace or something that just doesn't allow you to move. Now, Serpentor does come with a separate snake and back sort of cobra piece. So this is one piece, this is a second piece. The reason he comes with that is, one, this is a different design than what we're actually used to with the figure that it was in the box. So if you bring these two side by side, you can really see the texture on this one versus this one. I do like this one. This is the one I'll probably go with because I don't really need his neck moving and stuff like that. But the nice thing is with this attachment, you get the head movement that you don't get out of the other set. Serpentor does come with a Predator claw and looks pretty good. It's got some glittery silver bits in the gray plastic, painted silver blades. Not too bad. It just plugs right into his right arm. Now, you know those baby claws weren't going to be Serpentor's main claws. Come on, these things extend out like Wolverine, ready to tear somebody apart. And I think that's a cool feature. Instead of just giving them little baby claws, he can actually have those Wolverine slashing crazy shredder claws. Continuing with the bladed weapons, we do get a sword with Serpentor with some unique sculpt work in the blade. Sort of gives it like a futuristic look a little bit. Painted nice. We got the handle that is a cobra with the little red jewel, sculpted really nice. Cobra logo on this side. He can only afford one jewel, so we only get the one at the bottom on the one side, but a nice looking sword. Here we have an up close look at Serpentor's staff, and the cobra head on it looks really, really good. We got tons of sculpted in detail in there, just looking very, very nice. The gold plastic they use this time around looks nice. Looks gold. And then this top part actually pops off, so I guess you can have him like impale somebody or use it as like a weapon that just pops back on. We got the bottom that has jewels. He can afford 2 jewels on this though. That looks nice, but overall, I mean, it is a pretty good size staff. I mean, you can see that. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
Here we have an iconic accessory that Serpentor comes with, and it is the snake spear. This thing is sculpted pretty nicely. It's all in green plastic. We got that scaling texture throughout. Looking great. Even the bottom underbelly looks like an underbelly of a snake. And if you recall, this is the spear, or a spear like this, pierced Duke's heart. He has these living snakes on him. He could just grab them and straighten them out and then throw them.
Arrogant Earth scum!
It's pretty awesome that they added it. It looks good, and it's done in this like pliable like rubber. So you can bend it all you want. You don't have to worry about snapping, but it's still a very cool piece. The final accessory we get is a big cobra sort of accessory, and it could have been painted better. The red sort of sloppily painted around inside the mouth and everything, but you got some fangs there. Definitely sculpted in detail. Tons of sculpt work for, you know, you got the scaling and everything going throughout. Looking really nice. And it's cool that we get this like big old cobra, because not only can this just be displayed as a big cobra and everything, but it can be probably repainted, add a couple eyeballs to it, and we got Cobra Commander when he turned into the full snake. What a time to be a collector. We got ourselves a G.I. Joe classified series scaled Serpentor's air chariot. This chariot is beautiful. The plastic that they chose, the gold paint, it is a beautiful, beautiful piece. Now, in the package, when you get it out, the jaw's closed up because it is an articulated jaw. The fangs are folded up, the gun's folded up, so you gotta get something flat to pry out the gun and the fangs. But once it's open, it looks beautiful. This whole freaking vehicle is a beautiful piece, full of detail. Even inside the grill here, if we get in close so you can see the texture, they sculpted in texture there, and it is just a beautiful piece. You got the caution gun reactor, you got the Cobra logo there, it's got a little crown and stuff. You can see like the little gold flakings inside the plastic, and it is just a nice piece. We got these big old guns, and this is like the gun that we technically should have got with Roadblock. Now, these things do have the holes for blast effects, and they are like, they peg in, but they, when you move them around, they sort of wobble around. Like, they almost look like they're on a ball system, but they're not. It's just a flat peg. And the bullet feeding system, now that's questionable. I guess Serpentor has infinite bullets because it's like it's feeding the bullets into itself in a circular, like there's no, it makes no sense. But I guess it doesn't really have to because it's G.I. Joe classified. But yeah, it's cool they got the belt feeding type of system, but it doesn't make sense because, again, it's coming out of itself into itself. It's weird. Then we get some more freaking sculpt work in there that just looks awesome. The fan, actually, if you see it spins. Can't really see. There you go. So you got some spinning there, texture where the feet go. We got some detail in the gauges. Looking so nice. The rivets, the little fins that once they're in, they're sort of in. I thought they would turn sideways, but they don't. And then we get under here, got the thrusters looking all orange. Underneath has texture. They didn't just like do the details and efforts on one side. Even underneath, it's hydraulic, panel removable, or removal. Got the Cobra logo underneath as well. Looking really, really cool. And then we got these stands that fold up. You got 3 of them. 3 of the stands. So you can actually prop it. One thing that would have been cool, but it would have definitely added a hole in here, or if they could have used the screw holes for some sort of flight stand. You know, get this thing off the ground. This is a air chariot. Definitely should have some flying, but it is just a beautiful piece. Here we have an up-close look at Serpentor, and this figure is phenomenal. The amount of work that they put into this figure, it's a beautiful piece. It's definitely a well-crafted figure. The gold they painted on for the armor looks so good. The golden plastic, they have scales going throughout the whole figure. It is a beautiful piece. I think they did a hell of a job. Like, the snakes even on him have like pink in the mouths. The eyes are painted. Looking very, very well done. We got the hole in the hand where his claw plugs in. Now the actual hands, his gloves are snakes too. And they even have nose holes and eyes that aren't painted. But those could have been painted to take it even a step further. We got gold fingers. The gauntlets look nice. A very, very scaly snake man. And his belt just looks super happy. It's like a happy snake belt. And again, like the thigh armor. The soft goods cape. I mean, look at it. The interior is sort of smooth. The back has scales. Like that. The cape has texture, which is freaking awesome. Instead of just being a green piece of fabric, then underneath, more sculpt work. Gold for his boots. Just a really, really well done figure with tons and tons of detail. Now, when it comes to articulation for Serpentor, that's my biggest gripes, is that he has the pinless technology, which looks great, but his joints are very, very stiff. Even heating them up with the blow dryer, it softened them up a little bit where I can move them a little bit, but then once it cooled off, it all locked back into place. And I know a lot of people were giving another company some flack about that. Well, this is what we're getting with a lot of these pinless figures, is stuff being super stuck, which is unfortunate because this figure is awesome. And I was hoping after heating him up a little bit that his stuff would have stayed sort of moving, but no, not at all. In fact, there's 3 points on the figure that are pretty much locked up that I can't really get to break free, even with some heat. So that sort of bugs me. And yeah, it bugs me. But let's look at the articulation with the head attachment where you can move his neck. You know, he gets that all awesome head movement. You know, he can look down this far, he can look up. We can rip off his top of his head and make him look crazy. But he can look up quite a bit. So tons of movement there. Then his arm, which this one doesn't really want to lift up because it cooled off. So he can actually lift his arm. He can do the T-pose. You can get him fully articulated. Bicep swivel. We also get the double jointed elbows, which get that range. Get wrist rotation, and then we get the wrist bend. So some articulation there. We get the butterfly in there. So again, just really, really stiff. He has the ab crunch, which he can crunch down that far. Can lean back, not much. It's weird how sometimes figures, they can lean forward quite a bit, but they can't lean back. And when he leans back, starts to gap a little bit. You can see that. He has the hula hoop waist, which mine's stiff, but it's definitely a hula hoop waist. Move his arms out of the way. He can do the full Van Damme. He could do the Spartan field goal kick. He has a thigh cut up here. And then this is where the fun begins, because I can get the knee to bend. Nope, hang on. Yeah, it can bend here, right? He has a boot cut right here. It's stuck on both parts of his legs right here. So when I try to bend it, it starts to want to bend this part that swivels like out of the way. So it's a pain. We got ankle bend and we get pivot. So yeah, pinless tech is great, but not when your figures can't pose. Like, I don't want to have to keep heating them up to keep moving them. And even when I heated, I couldn't get this part of the elbow right here to bend. You can see how there's extra paint there. And then I couldn't get both of the lower parts to bend. Now it's time for some comparison. We got ourselves the Hasbro Sergeant Slaughter next to the Emperor, which shows the Emperor is pretty massive. We got Gung Ho next to him as well. Pretty freaking huge. Like, these are some hulking figures. We also got ourselves Dr. Mindbender, you know, the creator of Serpentor, looking pretty good. And then we also can do, let's do the Cobra Viper officer, whatever you want to classify him. And then let's do, who do we got? Got so many figures around, I don't know who to choose. So let's go ahead and do one of the twins. Right there. So he is a pretty intimidating character. I mean, with your collection. I mean, even if we get out, let me see, who do I got? Let's go ahead and do like a Night Force Steel Brigade. Like, look at the size. Look at the size. It is pretty freaking awesome to have this ginormous. Look at, we got the Blue Ninja there. So you really could see some size comparison. Even we bust out the Scarab, which is the bigger. Like, it's just nuts. He's just this tower and monstrous emperor. and he's definitely going to look awesome with your Cobra army. When it comes to Serpentor as a character being turned into a G.I. Joe Classified Series level figure, Hasbro knocked it out of the park. If you're a Serpentor fan, you're going to be a fan of this figure because of everything that they did with it. The sculpt, the paintwork, the detail, the accessories. They did this character justice, and I love it. I love this figure. Even when I was putting it together, I didn't show you guys, it came with like the little instruction manual. It just gave me old school vibes of when I was a kid getting G.I. Joes that had vehicles and having to read those instructions on how to put them together. And it was just awesome. It was just full of nostalgia. The figure is beautiful. The pinless joints make this figure seem even more beautiful. But my biggest gripe with this figure is that I took heat to the joints and I still had joints that wouldn't budge. And that worries me with the future of this pinless technology that Hasbro is doing, because I'm getting a lot more of these pinless jointed figures from them and stuff is sticking and some joints don't move, and that's a big gripe of mine with this figure. And when I was opening it, putting it together, I was like, man, this figure is premium. The figure is premium compared to all other G.I. Joe figures released and a lot of other mass retail figures. It is definitely a premium figure in that aspect. I know some people are like, no, you can't really use premium because that's Hot Toys or Mezco and stuff like that. I think that this is a pretty high-end level G.I. Joe Classified Series figure because of what they did to this. I did add the blast effects from the Viper set as well to add a little extra to it. But man, I could see a lot of cool things coming out of this with customizers pretty much adding their own like flight effect underneath the Chariot to get him to be risen above his army. And it's awesome. I mean, another issue that I would have liked besides the joints, that's the biggest issue. I can't say it enough. Why didn't we get a open mouth, like yelling, screaming head for Serpentor? I mean, in pretty much every episode he's in, he's screaming Cobra la 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 la.
Cobra la 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 la.
Why didn't we get an alternate head with him sort of yelling? Like, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. We did get that spear that pierced through Duke, which was cool, but come on. We could have got an alternate head, especially for the price. You know, that's one gripe. But other than that, I am happy with this figure. This guy is going to get his own shelf. He's going to have Mindbender with him. He's going to have the bats. There is going to be a lot of amazingness on display with this figure. It is gorgeous, and I can't say it enough. I love it. And that sums up my unboxing and review of G.I. Joe Classified's Serpentor and Air Chariot. If you guys are enjoying my content, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not liking it, hit the dislike button. I don't really care. But the biggest thing is, if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and help the channel evolve and grow. I love that. Hit the silver bell notification if you want to know when I post up a new video. And most importantly, I want you guys to have the best luck hunting, keep on collecting, and have a beautiful day.